You're listening to Tabletop Arcanum, a podcast dedicated to learning and exploring the hobby of tabletop gaming. Your hosts are Justin Taylor and Richard Geese, so sit back and relax as we talk, discuss, and joke our way through the hobby we love so much.
Hello and welcome to Tabletop Arcanum with your hosts,
Justin
and Ricky. And today we're celebrating the new year. Welcome 2019. We're going to date this for the future. 2019.
We're already in 2019.
We're here. And so far...
It doesn't look like Blade Runner outside.
I've been gypped. We've been hoodwinked, Justin.
Yeah, by 1982 sci-fi writing.
I didn't sign up for this. This is trash. But we can help soothe that with some great challenges. Some New Year's resolutions and gamings.
New challenger approaches. In the form of board game challenges. So, I did this last year. I've seen in the community, it's one of those things of like, they call it by, typically it's a 10 by 10. You can kind of do whatever number set you do. Mm. But you pick out an X amount of games that you're going to play X amount of times, is really the point. So, 10 by 10 means you're going to play 10 different games on your list, 10 times each. So, it's a lot of game. But it also gives you the ability, and one of the things I did it for was to make sure I would play specific titles that either have been collecting dust or something I really wanted to make sure I got a lot of repetition into. Mm. I also did a challenge last year that was based on a number of games I've played. Like, I wanted to play, I think it was 250 games. Not unique games, but at least 250 times I sat down and played a game. Mm-hmm. So I've done that. I've got a couple new ones this year that we'll get to. We're going to kind of set ourselves our own little like New Year's game resolution challenges. Definitely welcome you to do yourself. Post on our Instagram, Facebook. Email us if you want to write in and we can talk about your challenge and hopefully put a little bit of weight into that. And if you write in, we'll definitely talk about it. That's tabletop.arcanum@gmail.com.
Again, tabletop.arcanum. gmail.com.
Or Facebook, or Instagram.
I was about to say, I haven't checked the email address in a while.
We haven't had anything yet. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I have it all. It pushes to my phone automatically, so please don't spam me.
I was at work and it popped up when I was talking to someone and sharing my screen. I'm like, oh, don't look at that.
Whoa.
Oh.
Well, it's not the worst thing that can pop up on your screen at work.
That's true.
So... It's been a couple weeks, but it's also been super busy during the holidays. I know we also even said, hey, we're going to do a Dual Sword Island and Dinosaur Island review on our last episode. Surprise. It's really weird where Christmas, New Year's, and someone's birthday get in the way of getting together and playing Dinosaur Island a lot. So we wanted to do this mini episode to kind of set up some challenges, and then next episode will truly be a review episode.
Yeah.
But in the roll recap, I'm going to start off, been a little bit, not too bit. Got to play a couple games with Christmas and everything else. You know, it's Christmas games. We talked about Fireball Island last time in the Arkham Horror event that I did. After last episode we recorded, I taught you Keyforge. Mm-hmm. Played the Fellowship 2018 event for Lord of the Rings, the Living Card Game, which was called the Woodland Realm. Got our butts handed to us. That game is pretty much that in a nutshell. It's really good, but very, 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 very tough. Mm-hmm. Then with the Christmas holidays and the various gatherings and meeting friends and doing sort of stuff, of course, games were brought out. One of the new games I was gifted was The Captain is Dead Lockdown. So we played a round of that. Lost horribly. Played some party games like Blank Slate, which we talked about before because I played that at Friendsgiving. And that was a nice little party game that was pretty light by USAopoly. Then I also got a rep into Gen 7. So I played the first episode of Gen 7. It went well. I was very, very excited to get Gen 7 as part of the local friendly game shop, Secret Santa. So I was like really itching to get that, and I've already learned that there's going to be an expansion for it coming very soon in like the first half of 2019. Mm-hmm. They're already like trying to push out more content and more scenarios. Because if you think about it, it's 7 episodes long. It only branches so much. There is branching. Like episode 1 is going to be the same no matter what, for the most part. But what I learned is the outcome of episode 1 will dictate if you do episode 2 this version or episode 2 that version.
Oh.
I don't know where it goes from there because that's all we played. To see if it like keeps branching or they kind of converge. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But with only 7 game long campaign, at some point you're gonna kind of get to those points. I had Arkham Horror Itch, so of course Arkham Horror 3rd Edition came out on board game night. And then we had a sealed Keyforge tournament, so I played like 4 rounds of Keyforge. Played some more Scythe. New Year's Eve, had got together with some friends. We played. I actually messed around with the Oculus Rift for half the night because I hadn't played with one of those yet, and that was a lot of fun. But we did play some board games too. I got to play That's a Question, which was a very interesting game because it's one of like 3 main prompts, but then everybody has like these wheeled cards, and you like of this particular. Which of these would you miss more if it ceased to exist? And you just like propose really tough questions at people. One of which was given which of these would you miss more? The fantasy genre or televised sports? This is opposed to a guy who pretty much those are his 2 bread and butter things. He almost left the party.
Yeah,
like right then and there, like I can't make this decision. I'm done.
Yeah, I was sitting there thinking, oh, fantasy. I want to keep fantasy. Oh, but hockey.
Right. So it actually came down to he interpreted because it specified televised sports and not sports in general. Mm-hmm. That while he can't watch the Blackhawks on TV anymore, they would still play games. He could still go to games. Like, sports would still exist, just not on TV. So fantasy was the saved one, only because of that keyword televised.
Can you imagine trying to buy tickets to the Blackhawks
if they were never televised?
If they were never televised, it's just like it is now, but times 1,000.
It was like a decade ago, really.
Yeah.
Before they started televising them again, because new ownership decided, wait, we could televise games, and it was much smarter. There was another really good one. Challenging puzzles, or intriguing puzzles, I can't remember the wording on it, or beer.
Oh.
I'm going to clue you in. The logic that we used on the other one kind of applied to here, too.
That we can have regular puzzles? Not so challenging?
No, actually, puzzles were saved. Beer was kicked to the curb. Because whiskey and everything else still exists.
That's true. I was thinking about that. I'm like,
While beer has a very big, broad range, there's a lot of other liquor, so, that's a potential thing. But that's the question, and that's just one of the 3 prompts you can use. One of the other ones is, like, which of these 2 things would you rather have? And they're like... And then the other one was, which of these is worse? People who do this or people who do that? So it's really fun and intriguing and just kind of gives you that, like, you really just want to give really tough questions out to people. At the LCG night this week, I started the Forgotten Age campaign for Arkham Horror, the LCG. Let me tell you, do not go to the jungle looking for an ancient Aztec civilization. Just don't.
I wouldn't suggest that in any kind of game or life.
It's a terrible idea. Snakes everywhere. Nobody survived. Like, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. The natives and the snakes literally killed every single person who went there. And in the game, you can earn, when you get knocked out, you earn trauma. Mm-hmm. And because of the interludes, which is kind of like a sub-story, every investigator has 2 to 3 trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Trauma, at the start of the next session, or start of every session, therefore, is how much damage, either mental or physical, that you start with.
Oh.
Like, everybody's, 3 wounds. It's turn 1. Already.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, I think we're going to be picking up some Band-Aids or something. And probably some liquor, because Liquid Courage is a card that heals your mental trauma. Yeah, I think we'll be bringing some of those along. And then before recording tonight, we had a series of rounds of 5-Minute Marvel. My buddy came in from the West Coast, so I introduced it to him before we started recording. And then you showed up and we kept playing.
Yeah, we're not going to stop playing. This is crazy.
Yeah. Hey, we went from Boss 1 Green Goblin all the way to Boss 6 Thanos. Didn't lose a single game.
That was beautiful.
Came close, but we didn't lose.
4 players, 3 cards per draw.
It's rough.
Yeah.
So that's my roll recap. And to be said, yes, I was busy during the holidays. I also got a lot of games in, so I'm pretty content.
Mm-hmm.
Grant, a lot of that was in the last week and a half with New Year's. Not so much Christmas itself.
So,
what about you?
My roll recap. I didn't get to do a whole lot during the past few weeks with everything, but I did give my girlfriend Codenames Disney Family Edition.
That's a popular one.
And we played a lot of it. It was nice because we could play with my niece and my nephew, so they jumped in for a few games.
And that's the one where it's more pictures than words, right?
You either do the pictures or the words.
Oh, the words are on the backside?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, that's a little bit different. Okay.
Yeah. So you can do one or the other, and then try to get people to guess.
I think all the promo images that they have always show the pictures and not that there's the words of the objects on the back. Because I looked at the Marvel one and went, I don't know if I just want to do pictures like that. Codename pictures where it's weird abstract things are really, it's a lot of fun, but I don't know if I wanted to do hey, look, it's Mjolnir. And
yeah.
It's Power Man's tiara.
And, honestly, the thing with the pictures that I found, it's great with the kids because it's easy for the kids if they don't know just to say blue, and then you point at the most blue picture on the board. But when you have those words, all of a sudden you're trying to describe the sky, and how do you describe the sky a way someone else is going to get it right away?
Right.
With one word. So...
Sounds good.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. My little sister was in town, so she brought over one of her friends, and they busted out Cards Against Humanity. Played that for the first time with my mom. Very interesting evening.
She learned a lot about you, didn't she?
Yeah, and I learned she played a lot of cards. She...
You learned a lot about your mother, too.
Yeah.
It was a bonding experience. In a dysfunctional, weird way, but still bonding.
Yeah. It was fun. We also busted out Mailborn.
Ah, that's an old favorite.
Yeah, my mom and my dad used to play that a lot, and since they know that we're podcasting about games now, they decided to give that to me for Christmas. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
It was fun. I remember playing it when I was really little, had no idea what I was doing, so I probably just kept throwing cards down.
Yeah.
Now I can actually grasp what's going on, and it was pretty fun. Like you said, we played a little Keyforge, 5-Minute Marvel, and I did something that not a lot of people are going to believe, but I painted. And if you don't believe me and you know who I'm talking to, you can definitely see it on our Facebook and our Instagram.
It's true. I can confirm that those things and those images exist.
Yeah. I at least have one of my miniatures up there. But I...
Grizzled War Veteran.
Grizzled War Veteran Rex. Reporting for duty. So, he's good to go.
Excellent.
I'm very, very excited about that. And yeah, I've been focusing a lot on painting. I've been spending...
That's good.
A few nights just
cranking out some paint.
I have way too much to paint.
As do I, and I don't have the skills honed yet, but we'll work on that. In the intro. I kind of talked about the challenges and the things that I kind of put it there. So I kind of want to recap what I did. I totally crushed the play 250 games in a year. I actually got 250 plays recorded by September 3rd.
Oh God.
If you actually want to know the true number of games I played last year, it was 397.
Oh.
Just a few games. So, like, I didn't double it, but I definitely went above and beyond. So, this year I'm going to dial that up. I'm calling it. Last year I called it play all the games. This year I'm calling it the play even more games. I'm setting the bar at 325. Obviously I almost hit 400 this year, but I also want to make sure I don't stress out over it either. And should I bump that up? I hit 250 in September. Should I go 350?
Do 350. I believe in you.
I can do 350.
Right now, here we are. We're proclaiming it. You're going to hit 350 by the end.
I'll hit 350 this year. No big deal.
Yeah.
Considering I'm already 7 games in because of all the 5-minute Marvel I just played today. So, the other one this is a new one for me. I'm challenging myself to play 50 new games. Games I've never touched before. 50 of them, unique titles throughout the year. That's less than one a week. It is almost one a week. But between the board game night and new things coming out, I figured that's going to Gen Con. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be too tough. But at the same time, I think I need to focus and make sure I don't fall back on the old classics that I always play.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you talked about this earlier. When you say play 50 new games compared to my goal, that's something big because we're sitting, again, in your room full of games with...
I don't have much of a shelf of shame.
Yeah.
So it's a term I've seen a couple times, like games you own but haven't actually played yet. I don't have a lot of those.
Yeah.
The only reason why I have some are because they're either extremely complex and long games and fall into a very much like I have to dedicate a day and a group to it, or it's like a 4 or less player count game. I have a hard time getting just 4 people together for a game. It's usually like, oh, there's 5 of us, 6 of us, 8 of us, 12 of us. What happened? And while, yes, when we've been at 8, and there's always been this discussion like, well, we could split up into 2 groups, but it's like, no, we all want to play together. So
yeah,
we have a hard time splitting up, and so we always tend to play the 6 count games a little bit more than the 4 count games. So like once it's like, oh no, you can't play more than 4 players, it's like, that one's gonna be a little bit tougher to get out. Ultimately, I'm doing another 10 by 10. So 10 games, 10 plays. Last year I didn't make this challenge. I missed it. So last year, I had Scythe, which I did get 10 games of. Arkham Horror, the card game, which I got way more than 10. I was over almost 50 of the plays on that one. Legend of the Five Rings, the card game, because that was brand new from a year ago, so I really wanted to make sure I kept focus on it. Played the living hell out of that. The one I was hoping I would make sure I put on the list to make sure I did it was Pandemic Season 1. Pandemic Legacy Season 1.
Yeah.
Because I had picked it up and I was sitting on it, and I was like, I have this Legacy game. Let me freaking play it already. So I got that one. X-Wing miniatures. I wanted to make sure I actually kept playing my X-Wing, as opposed to just collecting it and like, oh no, a new wave came out. Let me just pick that up and never play it. TAC. Specifically, I got most of my games at Gen Con when I played the TAC tournament. But it was one of the things I wanted to make sure I did that because I like the game a lot, but it's a unique 2-player game that I have to make sure I hone my skill at. Those are the ones I hit. Now, if you're counting, that's only 6. I missed 4. Some of which were better than others. So, in order of most plays still, Eldritch Horror, I only got 4 repetitions on it. I wish I did it more, but that's one of those little bit longer games that was a little bit tougher to get out. Betrayal at House on the Hill. With the Widow's Walk that came out last year, I'm like, all right, let me play this game. I played it 3 times. I love it, but I played it 3 times. Mm-hmm. Also, another game that came out last year that I wanted to make sure I played because it was a decent investment was Twilight Imperium 4th Edition. I did play this 3 times this year. That's pretty impressive for Twilight.
Yeah.
I pushed the bar at 10. I wanted to get 10 games of that, which was about 1 Twilight Imperium game a month. That's how I viewed it a year ago. I didn't play it after about half the year.
Yeah.
It got too busy, work, Gen Con, life, everything kind of got too busy. So I learned my lesson a little bit on that one of I need to make sure I stay focused because it's like, oh, well, I can miss a month here, and all of a sudden, like now it's November, and I have to play Twilight Imperium 6 times, 7 times.
Once a week. Until the end of the year.
Until the end of the year, I have to play a Twilight Imperium game? Yeah, no. The one I actually was disappointed myself in was Firefly. Mm-hmm. I played it a year ago. I've got a lot of stuff for it. I didn't play that game last year.
At all?
At all. I didn't get a single reputation on it. Again, it's one of those longer, complexier... I won't even say heavily complex, but it's a pick-up delivery game that you need a specific group of players that actually enjoy that sort of game. Mm-hmm. Also, it does take a long time, so again, my wife likes Firefly. She's played this with me, but for her to be in a mood to play a 2 or 3 hour game is rare. Mm-hmm. So that almost doesn't come up.
Yeah.
So that was my 2018 challenges, and so again, 10 by 10, 2019. My list includes Arkham Horror 3rd Edition, the board game. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna play more than 10 games. I think this one's pretty easy to hit, but want to make sure I keep playing Arkham Horror.
I put that on my list because I assume
we'll
both be either together or separately. We're both gonna hit that out of the park this year.
Right. Charterstone was another one I put on there because I want to start the Charterstone campaign finally, and that. Easily, as long as we finish the campaign, we'll finish 10 plays, but it's like Pandemic Season 1 last year. I want to make sure this Legacy game gets filled. Mm-hmm. I have Cthulhu Wars on its way. It should be here soon? I don't know, whenever Kickstarter, the Ancient Ones deem it necessary and the stars align that shows up. With the investment that game requires, monetarily, you better believe it's on my 10 by 10 to make sure I play it enough to justify it. Gen 7, another game I really, really want, campaign-wise, like, it's 7 games long. Mm-hmm. I need to play it 10 times. I want to run through the campaign at least twice. Mm-hmm. Probably 3 times this year. Talking with some of the guys at the shop, we're going to be doing a they want to do a campaign-based game. The word Gloomhaven was tossed out. I'm going to make this happen, and Gloomhaven's on my 10 by 10.
I've been looking at picking up Gloomhaven. It's so pretty.
We started our Pandemic Season 2, but we haven't, because of Betrayal Legacy, we didn't pick it up. That's going to start again this year. Also on my 10 by 10. I put Scythe on my list again this year. I know it's a repeat from last year, and I don't know if I should have, but the Rise of Fenris campaign, you notice this theme on my 10 by 10. They all have like these arcing stories that will make me play them. Again, this is on my 10 by 10. I want to play the Rise of Fenris campaign specifically for Scythe. Sentinels of the Multiverse.
You have that beautiful big black box.
Not that big black box.
What are the Sentinels in the Multiverse? What am I missing out on?
Oh, I thought you were making a Cards Against Humanity reference.
Oh, okay. I got scared for a minute. I'm like, that big black box right there?
There are 4 lights.
So huge.
So yeah, big box. Oblivion came out. There's all these sorts of new heroes, and new villains, and new location, everything. I want to play more. And then finally, to round out my 10 by 10, Unborn. Oh, no. That's actually number 7. Number 8. I'm sorry, that was number 8. So number 9 was Rising Sun. Area control, a little bit different. But also now we have Big Bad Minis. And finally, Warhammer Quest Blackstone Fortress.
So good.
Because I really want to see what's inside that vault, and it's going to take us at least 10 plays to get to it. So that's my 10 by 10 for 2019. What about you? Because you said, hey, I want to jump on these challenges now that I'm becoming not necessarily a real gamer. But
I'm getting more serious about board games versus video games.
Right. You're shifting what your definition of gamer is, what it means to you. So jumping in on this challenge for 2019, your gaming resolutions are?
Well, first and foremost, I'm going to have a gaming resolution that you don't have. I want to have 35 minis painted by the end of the year. I'm hoping to knock that out of the park. Because I probably have a good 80 minis at home for...
35?
Should I up that?
I think so.
I'm going to up that.
50?
Let's go 55.
55.
Because, I mean, if we really think about it...
That's like a mini a week. Give or take. And if you're doing squads...
If I'm batch painting them, yeah.
If you're doing a squad of stormtroopers, that's...
Well, I'm painting rebels right now.
Yeah.
And so the way I figure it is, I have the 2 squads of 5 that came in my core set.
Yep.
I have the second box of 2 squads of 5 that I bought separately. And then I got the ones that you gave me for Christmas. So that's 30
That's 30 Rebel Troopers.
Alone.
That's a whole lot of dome helmets.
Yeah.
Whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you could do 55.
I'm going to do 55.
Okay. So 55 minis painted by New Year's Eve next year. This year. This year. Yes. So that's better. That's a good goal.
Yeah. I do have my new game challenge.
Okay.
I said 30. Again, I think that's too low. Because, like I've told you, like we've discussed before this, and now hearing your goal, I feel like mine is very small. I said 30, mostly because I don't game as often as you do, so it's harder for me to get into new games.
Sure.
But we're definitely going to go to Gen Con. You have all these games lining this floor right now. I mean,
it's because I have to reorganize the room. Don't worry about that.
No, I know, but you have Nemesis sitting right here, and that's beautiful.
It did show up today, yes.
And I need to get in on that.
So, instead of 30, what are you thinking? I said 50, but I'm also very ambitious at that.
I'm going to say 40.
40?
Meet you in the middle.
Yeah, that's a good number. 40 new games, 55 painted minis.
I said 150 games played.
I think that's a good number for you.
Yeah. Starting out, especially because, I mean, there are a lot of games that I play with my girlfriend or my niece and my nephew that make it...
And we can always revisit that goal, I think. Like, if you are done by, like, June...
Yeah.
Maybe we add 100 to that list and say, okay, 150 was really actually on subpar. Let's get you to 250.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're already at 3, so...
See?
And it's the second.
See? It's already doing great. Keep the momentum.
My 10 by 10 challenge.
I'm excited to see this list.
Arkham Horror. We've already discussed. We have been pretty jazzed about it. I'm still pretty jazzed about it. I haven't played my own copy of it yet. Every time I've played your copy of it. So I need to bust it out. I need to play solo. I do like the fact that it is solo because I can enjoy the whole game by myself. Charterstone.
Yep. Okay.
Harry Potter.
Hey, you know what? Everyone needs a low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, that is definitely a low-hanging fruit. I already know that.
Last year, that was my Arkham Horror.
Yeah.
So, I will not... No, that's fine.
I'm probably going to play 7 rounds of that this weekend. So...
Right.
That may be done very quick.
Check. Move on. You got 9 other to go.
I put down Keyforge
Okay.
Only because that's going to cause me to have to start being in the shop more often, going to
the tournaments,
everything like that.
Yeah,
So
it requires you to show up and play.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Millborn.
You just got it as a good gift.
I got that as a
good family thing to bond with your mom over.
Yeah.
I would say that's more wholesome than Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah. Yeah.
She doesn't have to Google anything and then get mentally scarred.
It is pretty great hearing all the like you shouldn't Google some of these words because you're gonna get Google image search and
That's bad.
I picked Pandemic because it's a classic. Everyone loves playing Pandemic.
Yep.
I'm eyeing your
10-year anniversary edition.
10-year anniversary.
Super beautiful. Because I have weird versions of Pandemic, but I don't have a real normal version of Pandemic. So 10-year anniversary came out. Yeah, that's a good gift.
There we
go. To spend some gift cards on.
I put down Star Wars Armada, which I haven't talked a lot about because you just gave that to me for Christmas. So I'm pretty jazzed about it. I'm already
You were eyeing it, and you were like, oh, should I? I'm like, I'm just going to give you my collection and see how you go from there.
Yeah, because Amazon had the core box like super discounted for a long time.
Right, and I don't think I've played it for at least 2 years. Maybe.
Yeah.
So.
And from what I hear, it's not going to be like Legion where they keep bringing stuff out. They really aren't bringing too much out now.
Not in a huge, fast way. They've brought out a lot of stuff since I stopped really playing, but it's not Legion where there's like a release every couple weeks.
Yeah, and I already know that I'm not going to spend $200 on a Superstar Destroyer, so...
You sure?
No, don't tempt me.
It's the size of a baby.
It's bigger than a baby. That thing's giant.
Oh, very long, pointy baby.
It was probably the size of me when I was a baby.
Well,
very large.
Very large baby man. Who's shaped like a Star Destroyer. Doctors questioned it. It was a scientific mystery.
Well, they also saw me like that's no moon. To go along with my mini painting, Star Wars Legion.
Ah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I encourage that one a lot because you're invested.
I'm very invested at this point.
Make sure you use your investment.
Yeah.
Paint it, play it, love it, all aspects of the hobby.
Yeah. Ticket to Ride. That was actually the first board game that me and my girlfriend played together here.
Yeah.
So first time ever me and her play a board game, and we played it here.
Yeah,
she's been in love with it ever since. So.
I love a good Ticket to Ride game. Like, I grew up on the Rails game, so like, train games have always been kind of a soft spot for me. But it, like you said, it's something that like she could learn and play. Mm-hmm. My wife likes it.
One of my coworkers found out about the podcast, started asking me about games and what I would suggest. For him and his girlfriend, I told him Ticket to Ride. He bought it that day, and they played a ton of it and love it. So
yeah,
it's easy game to get people into. And last but not least, Warhammer Quest, Blackstone Fortress, because
I know
that was fun. It was engaging. I just really enjoyed almost everything about that game. So
there's almost 50 miniatures in there. If you just paint my Warhammer Quest, you can get your painting goal done.
I'm not paying your minis. I have minis at home. Don't throw them on my desk. Maybe later.
Yeah, we'll see. So yeah, that's a solid challenge. So you got your 10x10. I got mine.
Mm.
You've got your number of plays per year. I've got my number of plays per year. We both got our new games per year, and then you've got the added because you're trying to hobby more.
Mm-hmm.
The painted minis by the end of the year too. So I think we got some good challenges ahead of us. Like I said earlier in the episode, let us know what your challenges are going to be because I'd love to see what you're going to resolute yourself to. Is it a simple resolution of just play more games than I did last year? Or is it something like clear out my shelf of shame and not buy a new board game until I've played everything I already have? I've seen a lot of people doing that right now because it's the realization of like, hey, I've spent money on this. Let me actually try it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff coming up. There are some new games on the horizon. Hopefully we get some good stuff coming up this year. There's some interesting announcements I'm waiting for, so we'll see what comes up. Next episode, we'll make sure we actually set some time aside and do some dinosaur islanding.
Mm-hmm.
And we will then talk about it and see what our thoughts and feelings are about genetically engineering dinosaurs for amusement parks.
Billy and the Clonosaurus.
You know, I don't think anything can go wrong.
Life finds a way.
Right. So, till next time, this is Justin.
And this is Ricky. Enjoy your year of gaming.
Happy New Year. You've been listening to Tabletop Arcanum, hosted by Justin Taylor and Richard Geese, and featuring the original music by Paul Moore and Isaac Gilbert. You can follow us on most social media platforms. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a review on whatever platform you listen to podcasts. As always, thanks for listening.